Yeah. Ooh, keep that music playing, Emma. We don't turn it down in this place. Yeah. Ooh, welcome in to the PHNX Daily Bet Show. I'm your host, Shane Diefenbach, joined, as always, on Fridays for the next 7-8 weeks by Bo Brock. How you feeling, Bo?
I'm feeling great.
Good.
Feeling revved up.
Revved up.
Dare I say.
Dare you say trevved up?
Ooh.
Did this last year? Did this the year before, actually. This is the third year in a row doing this. That's terrifying. Previewing the divisions in the NFL. Week by week, once a week, every Friday until the NFL season starts. So the reason why we're doing it right now is because we are 8 weeks away from game week. Or from the week before
sweet,
game
glorious
week.
season opener.
So let's see, we're 8 weeks away, and then it's 6 days. So we're 8, 30, 45, 64, 56,
carry the two.
56, 62 days away. Right? Yeah. 62 days away from the Detroit Lions, right?
Did you multiply by pi on that?
No, I didn't. Yeah, we're close. We're getting closer to football season.
3.14.
For people that don't know what we do, we just go one by one by each team, talk about them for a little bit, and then we'll get into some props and some forecasts. But Bo, why are we starting out with the AFC South?
Because is it cool to say redheaded stepchild of the
No, because
NFL?
that's Johnny's thing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the worst division in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
There's one legitimate team in this division. Everybody else has to kind of surprise the masses.
Yeah.
Because you like Jacksonville. They finally found it out.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor Lawrence got it going on the NFL level.
He's got a real coach.
And there's no value in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You really think so?
That's unfortunate. No, because, I mean, you look at the division, and it's like minus 165. You got to hope that maybe they stumble out of the gates, and then that number goes back up a little bit, gives you a little value. But right now, minus 165, I don't see any reason to throw some shekels on the Jags.
I do.
Yeah?
I 100% do. And we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Look, Doug Peterson. Let's start with the Jags. We'll start with the Jags.
Okay.
They're gaining a star receiver in Calvin Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, they knew what they were doing, and they had to wait a year, and he's ready to play now. And I believe he's 29, which is crazy to think about. He's old, 28.
Still old.
But he is a guy that can completely. He's your number one. I think he's the number one receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shout out Christian Kirk, but they have weapons, and they shipped off their starting running back last year because the rookie they drafted in Travis Etienne 2 years ago turned out to be a stud. And their old coach that he who shall not be named was trying to use him as a receiver and was injuring him. And now he's a true running back, and he looked really good last year. And plus, obviously, the biggest thing that happened was Doug Peterson last year.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how easy Trevor Lawrence looked throwing the ball. He just looked calm, collected, and he
made that second-year sophomore jump that we see from a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, but it was amplified by Doug Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
It made it look a lot easier than it was. So is this a team that you think is a Super Bowl contender, or are they just on the outside? Or are they just a playoff team?
They're a playoff team. I think that they could do exactly what they did last year as far as win a wild card game. Crazy come from behind win over Justin Herbert and crew to make their way to the divisional round, right? Was that a product of Jacksonville, coming out of nowhere in the second half?
Or Joe Lombardi.
Yeah, Lombardi and Staley crapping the bed with Justin Herbert sprinkled in there a little bit? Possibly, but I think that they are an overwhelming favorite in this division. I love what they did in the offseason. I think that they've got young players, even the number one overall pick from a season removed, and Walker out of Georgia didn't even touch his potential last year. As far as what they have, as far as that pass rush and defense, it can get better. And then you talk about the offense adding a true wide receiver one, a skill set that I think is more cohesive with a guy like Trevor Lawrence, even more so than Christian Kirk. Because when you looked at when he was successful at Clemson, he did have Hunter Renfrow, but Renfrow didn't light the world up as far as big time numbers out of the slot. It was his outside guys because he's got that arm strength. He's got that touch. He's got that accuracy.
Yeah, he does. The arm strength is ridiculous. Yeah. It was on full display later in the season with some of those, back shoulder throws to the outside of the sticks. They're just he was great. Let's get into some of the guys they lost. Losing their starting right tackle and Jawan Taylor sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That might hurt, but they did shore it up a little bit with some pieces. They also lost Arden Key, but replaced him with Arizona Cardinal legend Michael Dogby. Not a ton of movement. They re-signed a bunch of guys. They got Evan Ingram on a good contract again, which I think was such a great signing.
Ingram was one of those guys that if you're a fantasy football player, if you got him late in the season, he was dominant at the tight end position.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens after this year. Obviously, they franchise tagged him after the steal that was the contract last year. But CJ Beathard is now a Jaguar as well. We love that, just in case T-Law goes down. He is huge.
Okay.
But yeah, the biggest thing is they're getting Calvin Ridley.
Right.
And I think that's going to help this team a bunch. Speaking of some movement, there has been none with the Tennessee Titans. There's a bunch of rumblings about Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. They're still on the roster. It is July. Are these two guys?
There's one more move they can make.
What?
They could sign DeAndre Hopkins.
They're
probably the leader in the clubhouse to get D-Hop.
Yeah, they could. Right now, do you think those are your starting running backs and quarterback?
Henry and Tannehill? Yeah, no doubt about it. There's no way that Malik Willis or Will Levis are going to beat out Ryan Tannehill.
More, I mean, do you think they're still going to be on the roster by the time the season's done?
Yeah, probably. I think Tennessee has no idea who they are.
Yeah.
They look in the mirror and they think they see one thing and it's a completely different thing. It should be a team that needs to just tear it all down and move a different direction, and they're not going to acknowledge it. They are in that weird time. Every NFL franchise faces it, where it's like, are we rebuilding?
Yep.
Are we contending? We don't know. And they paid Derrick Henry, so they're going to try to move forward with him at the end of his contract,
which I love. I think a guy like him. I know I'm the biggest anti-running back guy.
Yeah.
Cycle him in and out. This is a guy who I don't think is going to slow down this year again. And they thought he's going to slow down 2 years ago. They thought he was going to slow down last year. But that's just kind of the Titans.
The league's writing him off. Is he just not writing back?
No,
is he Genoing it? Okay.
But that's what the Titans are. That's what Mike Vrabel is. It's like they're going to win 6-7 games,
right.
And then all of a sudden, they're in the playoffs. Excuse me, they won the AFC, or they had the best record in the AFC. They are the overall 1 seed. Excuse me, it's been like this for a while, but it does feel like this year is the year where they should, for sure, take a step back.
They added Skoronski. That was their top pick, right?
Yep.
Little baby arm Skoronski. And then they get Will Levis. Where did they get better?
Azeez Al-Shaair.
Okay.
I love that signing. He is, that entire linebacking core for San Francisco was ridiculous, but he was a huge part of it as well. Sean Murphy-Bunting is a solid corner.
Tampa.
Yeah, and they re-signed the best blocking third-string receiver second-string receiver in the NFL, Nick Westbrook-Akine.
It's by far the worst receiving core in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's by far the worst second-string receiver in the NFL, at least in the AFC, I would have to say. That's where this receiving core was bad last year, and they lost Robert Woods.
Bobby Trees. No other team would be like, oh man, we lost him.
What's the rookie's name? He's going to be the one, right?
Who, Treylon Burks?
Oh, yeah, Treylon Burks.
Second year? Yeah.
Second year. Do you like him?
I did come out of Arkansas. I think that if he's their number one,
he's big.
And defenses can key in on him, he's not going to be able to do
think
anything.
They saw AJ Brown a little bit in him?
Yeah, sure. It was the same front office at the time, right?
Yeah.
It was Robinson and it was Monty Ossenfort, and they definitely had a type.
Austin Hooper is gone. Dennis Daly.
That's an addition by subtraction. He was one of the worst left tackles in the league last year. That's a good thing.
I have high hopes for Derrick Henry. I don't know about this team, but I know you like them a little bit, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
A little bit later. But now let's talk about CJ Stroud, as Johnny would say, and the Houston Texans. Houston Texans obviously trading with the Cardinals in the draft, picking up 2 huge guys in the first couple picks.
Yeah.
Did you put it in a vacuum.
Sure.
Away from the Cardinals, did you like that move?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's like Nick Caserio thought, I got 2 blue chip prospects. I got the quarterback that we kind of were strong arming and taking it because it felt like they weren't going to go quarterback for the longest time at second overall. And then they started kind of diagnosing how things were going to fall. And they realized that they had to make the quarterback pick there and then trade back with the Cardinals. But I think they misdiagnosed like where they were in the rebuild. This was a team that was picking at the top of the draft until the final week of the season. Like they had more than just a rookie quarterback and a rookie pass rusher away. Like I like the picks. I think that they're going to be, the future faces of that franchise. But as far as now, Ohio State quarterbacks, notoriously have a rough start to their career. Like name an Ohio State quarterback throwing the football that was successful out of the gates, because I can't.
No, I mean, the most recent one who a lot of people are comparing him to, and that might just be because of the last 10 years, is what Justin Fields did. He struggled, and now he's turned it up, but it's still unproven. This is the prove it year.
Yeah.
This is the Justin Fields prove it year. And he's been in the NFL, what, 4 years now?
This is year three. This is year three.
3 years now. So, yeah, you can't. You genuinely can't. I can't even think of one. These are your starting receivers. You got Nico Collins, Robert Woods, and who I'm excited to see back, great story, John Mechie. He should be the 3. That's fine.
They added Dalton Schultz, right?
They did add Dalton Schultz.
He's decent at tight end. Yeah. You like that. But you would hope that they lean. I think D'Amico Ryans and his play caller that I think followed him from San Francisco. Was it Sowers or Scowers? He's the play caller there, that they're going to lean heavily on Dameon Pierce.
Oh, you know who they did add also? Noah Brown.
Okay.
I do like
from
Noah Brown.
Dallas?
Yeah.
The
fake, what's his name? CeeDee Lamb. Every time he caught the ball, it was like, CeeDee. 85, 88, long hair. Yeah, I do like Noah Brown. They have some pass catchers. I'm not going to lie.
All right.
You don't like that.
It's not exactly conducive to CJ Stroud coming out and bucking the trends that have been there for years of Ohio State quarterbacks. He's going to have a fine year, but
yeah, there are so many names that they added that I didn't realize they added. Shaq Mason, obviously in that trade.
Old.
Yeah, old. They added obviously Dalton Schultz, Robert Woods, as I mentioned before. Where's I just saw somebody else. Devin Singletary, forgot about that. Chase Winovich. Just a bunch of random guys.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ward, the safety. So a bunch of random guys.
They're going to be in some shootouts.
Yeah, they are. I think they'll be a fun team to watch. They haven't been before.
They could be the Bears of last year.
Yeah. Is Davis Mills still on the roster?
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
Yeah, he's still on his rookie deal.
He's got a long neck.
He does.
It does have a very long neck.
Very reminiscent of a giraffe.
Yeah. Let's talk about somebody who runs as fast as a giraffe. Anthony Richardson. You know how fast giraffes run?
Sneaky fast.
Yeah. They're so fast. They run like 40 miles an hour. That's not cap. Look it up. It's crazy. Yeah.
You capping, son.
I'm not capping.
On giraffe MPHs, you be capping.
Come on, don't be capping. All right, the Colts.
Weird
Is this
team.
going to work? This is going to work.
Shane Steichen, what he did with Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's why when I look at the value of the Colts, like a lot of things have to go right for the Colts. Like things have to go extremely right for the Colts, including Jonathan Taylor's health. But Anthony Richardson, if they go with him out of the jump and they don't go Gardner Minshew and let Richardson hold the clipboard and he's in there and he's Jalen Hurts, year one Jalen Hurts, where it's a run-heavy offense. He's handing off the football and throwing the ball just maybe under 20 times a game. I think that's intriguing.
Yeah, it is. Look, this is a team that last year was, again, one of the hardest teams in football to watch. I mean, the Carson Wentz experiment was never going to work. It just never was.
No,
it was Phillip Rivers all over again.
It was Matt Ryan.
Or the Matt. Well, yeah. Sorry.
It was Carson Wentz light. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Matt Ryan,
right.
And that was even worse to watch.
Sam Ellinger.
For the last 3 years, it hasn't been fun.
No.
4 years. And you have Jonathan Taylor, who sure is great, but I really like their defense. I've always liked their defense. I love a couple guys on that defense, but it just wasn't enough. And you got guys like Deion Jackson getting the brunt of the carries when Jonathan Taylor's hurt.
Making fantasy owners just furious.
Yeah, I lost.
The receiving core still, there's a lot that you want more from that.
Yeah, but I do like them individually. I don't like them together.
Pittman.
I like a lot of their guys individually. I love Michael Pittman.
Okay.
I really like Alec Pierce, and I really like Isaiah McKenzie, who they added.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, together they're just not great. You have Michael Pittman year one. I never like a possession receiver being year one. I always hate that. Yeah. Like Keenan Allen is awesome, but he can't separate now, and they had trouble last year.
I like their defense.
I really do like their defense. Yeah, Shaq Leonard, now Shaq Leonard, formerly Darius Leonard. Fun fact. Shaq Leonard is an awesome guy to wear the green dot. I really like Kenny Moore. And then their safeties have been
Buckner
fine.
Up front.
Yeah, this is DeForest Buckner, but I think Kwity Paye is going to take a huge step this year.
All right.
We saw flashes of it last year. Absolute freak out of Michigan. Rumored to have the fastest 3-cone ever recorded, but it wasn't official. An absolute freak. So Colts,
let's parlay that into where I look at some value as far as winning this division, because there wasn't any that I felt with the Jags that were minus 165. On the BetMGM app, the Colts are at plus 550. And I think if things go perfect, in a perfect world, Shane Steichen, he puts that Philly offense that he ran, implements it immediately, and Anthony Richardson makes this jump that everybody envisioned when he was just winning each round of the draft season, right? From the combine to his pro day to all the interviews and stuff that we were there for at the scouting combine. Like, if he's able to kind of do what he wasn't able to do at Florida, but he's not put a ton of pressure on to be more than he was at Florida, I think that could be the Colts. That's where I would throw a ton of money on it, but plus 550 for the Colts to win the division, I would be much more comfortable with that. I wouldn't sweat it out as much as maybe trying to go bet on the Titans who had previous success that I think are at the end of the road.
Who's their NFC division they're facing this year?
The Colts?
Just the AFC.
Oh, South. So let's see. They are taking on, it looks like the South, or is that
that's the South.
Yeah. It's a poopy division too. It's probably
the
our
Colts
next
have
one.
a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
I also don't hate BetMGM, where right now you can get all of these odds that we're about to give you at BetMGM. They got a ton of stuff from player props to futures to straight forecasts to awards, whatever you want at BetMGM. Just all you got to do is sign up with that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live before our Arizona audience. Place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, just make sure you're using bonus code PHNX. You can already bet on the first game. You can already bet on the first week of games. You can bet on preseason football. You can also bet on the CFL. The Argonauts -6 tonight. Book it. I'm not kidding. Lock that shit in right now.
Wow. Who's their quarterback? Anybody know?
I have no idea.
No clue.
Just lock it in. And by lock it in, I mean throw like a half a unit on it because it's the CFL. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I do know what I'm talking about when I tell you to download BetMGM. So check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to me talk about the disclaimer. Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan. All right, Bo, you said you like the plus 550, right?
Yeah, I'm all in it. Let's take a look at my AFC South. Indianapolis Colts. This is not who I have winning the division. I like the Jags to run away with this division.
But it's just a sprinkle.
This is a little sprinkle. Yeah, this is my guy Johnny Venerable likes to say, if I'm going to dabble with the Colts. Jacksonville Jaguars, even though I'm all in on the Jags, I'm taking the under on 10.5 wins.
You're not jagging off?
I'm not jagging off with the Jags. No, I'm not. 10.5, that's a lot of dubs, even in a 17-week season. And they were playing a first-week schedule. I was telling you, they're on the precipice of prime time, but they're not yet ready for prime time. They're the division winners that they're going to be facing from last year. It's going to be tough. It's going to wear on them. I think they get potentially to 10, but over 10.5, I'm out on that. And then the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, what's up?
It was bet up to 10.5. It's been 9.5 most of these last couple of weeks.
And I would probably hammer the over on 9.5, and that's what the betting public did. And then Tennessee, I'm going to go under 7.5. I really don't. I don't like what's going on. I don't think Rand Carthon has a good pulse of where this organization was. So I'm out on Tennessee, even though like they're going to be in some tight games. They're going to be just like the team that you saw at the end of last year, where they're going to be fighting tooth and nail with Mike Vrabel as their head coach, but it's just not going to be enough.
If I could bet on Derrick Henry's over passing touchdowns, I would, because he's throwing at least one.
Okay.
He's throwing one of those jump passes. Do you have the Toronto Argonauts starting quarterback?
I'm looking. Let's see.
Do you not recognize anybody?
Cameron Dukes. Oh, and Chad Kelly.
Hey, how about it? Let's go, Argonauts. Let's go. Look at my picks or my forecast today. Yeah, there is value in this. You got to pay the piper sometimes, Bo. You said the Jags were going to run away with this division. How much do you have to throw on that to win $20, Bo?
To win
$33.
30?
That's it.
Okay.
To win $20, get 53 back.
But if Trevor Lawrence goes down,
Let's not do
you're
that.
down.
Well,
That's not great.
okay, let's not say that. All right, stop that. Give me the Jags to win the division.
For my plus 550, how much do you have to throw down to get $20?
$4. You'd win $22 if you threw $4.
I feel more comfortable with that. I can sleep at night.
All right. Well, I can't sleep at night regardless. Last night I slept like a baby.
Yeah.
I woke up crying and screaming every
the
10
night
minutes.
terrors got you.
Yeah, give me the Jags to win the division. I'm jagging off at minus 165. And then the Houston Texans, I found this appalling. You can take them to have the fewest wins at plus 900 right now at BetMGM.
In the NFL or the division?
In the NFL.
Cards fans, that's music to your ears.
Yeah. So it's the Cardinals at like plus 220.
Yeah.
It's the Buccaneers at like plus 500. And then it's the Texans at plus 900. This is crazy to me.
Yeah, that seems like
You throw $2, you get 18 back.
I'm in for that.
Yeah. How about that? Can you sleep at night with that? Give me the Houston Texans to have the fewest wins. And then give me the Jags first and the Titan. Only one of them. Give me the Titans to finish second.
Which one? Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry to finish
Okay.
second. Yeah, Jags first, Titans second in the division for an exact forecast at plus 220. I think these are the two better teams or the two best teams in the division. The Jaguars are obviously I think they're going to win it, and the Titans I think are at least going to be competitive because Vrabel's teams are always competitive. All they have to do is win 7 games, and they probably come in second.
Are we doing your tasty props or my tasty props?
Let's go with your little nuggets
All right,
first.
let's do it. All right, CJ Stroud. I'm going over 31.99.5 pass yards, so he's going to get to 3,200. Because if he plays all 17 games, as long as nothing gets in the way and DeMeco Ryans doesn't get a little, wishy-washy as far as his quarterback play. If he lets Stroud fail at the NFL level, he'll sleepwalk his way to over 3,200 yards. You look at, how bad Trevor Lawrence was in his rookie year, and he had 3,600 yards. So I think CJ Stroud, that I'll take the over on passing yards, and then I'll take the over on Calvin Ridley, talking about sleepwalking, over 900.5 receiving yards. It was between Ridley and Christian Kirk, because Christian Kirk, I believe, is under, it's like in the 800s as far as his over-under receiving yards on the season, and that seems like it's pretty tasty as well. But I'll take Calvin Ridley just because I think he's going to be the true one there. And then Dameon Pierce over 899.5 rush yards.
Disrespectful.
It is pretty
It's unbelievable.
I mean, if he stays healthy, if he plays about 15 games, that's easy.
He looked like the best running back in that class last year, obviously after Breece Hall went down. But the
only thing that can deter that is if the Texans are out of a lot of games early.
Yeah. That's true, but even last year, I feel like they just pound the rock when they were down 30.
Yeah, with DeMeco Ryans, a couple, 49ers disciples across the board, like they're going to run the football.
Yeah, Steichen's going to have, or not Steichen, what's his face is going to have a field day with him.
Yeah,
love it. I love it. I also love a guy who I've been betting on for years, Derrick Henry. Give me his over on rushing yards, 1150. I'm pounding the over. He's not done. He's not finished. This is Henry 2K. I mean, this is a guy who ran for 2,000 yards. 4 years removed? Like, I'm fine with taking the over here at 1150 rushing yards. And then Calvin Ridley, I'm with you. He's the number one. People forget how damn good he was. Julio Jones goes down and he just turns into a monster 3-4 years ago. 3 years ago? That's only 3 years. That's crazy. Yeah. Give me his over at 900.5 receiving yards, and then T-Law to win the MVP of the National Football League. Plus 1,600, throw $10 at that, get 170 back. This is totally worth a sprinkle. It's a quarterback award. Mm-hmm. He showed flashes of being the best quarterback in the NFL at the end of last year. I don't think this is the craziest long shot, and I don't think it should be plus 1,600. And some of the guys that are above him, I'm like, I'm not taking them.
Stinky.
Is that worth a sprinkle for you?
Yeah, I do it for sure. I mean, I was a big believer in Trevor Lawrence. I didn't lose faith. I think that people discount how hard the quarterback position is, especially when you're dealt a losing hand in your first year under Urban Meyer. It's just he's only going to get better. So,
were you ever a believer?
A believer?
Mm-hmm.
In who?
Justin Bieber. Were you ever a believer?
No. No, man. How dare you ask me that?
That's offensive that you get offended by that. I find that disturbing. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. We're going to be doing these once a week, usually every Friday, but I don't know. We got a busy couple weeks, so we're going to be doing it once a week, previewing the division. Yeah. We'll probably do another boring one next week. What's the second most? Probably the NFC South?
I think the NFC South.
We'll probably do the NFC South next week, and then we'll get into some more fun ones.
That's the worst quarterback division by far, right?
It might be the worst quarterback division of all time.
Desmond Ridder, probably Baker, Bryce Young. What's the other team? Oh, Derek Carr. Derek Carr's the top quarterback in that division.
I forgot he was there.
Yeah.
Help. That's what everyone's saying. That's what all the quarterbacks are saying. Help me. I don't want to be here. Guys, I think Baker Mayfield's going to lead the Bucs to more wins than people think. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. We'll see you here next week on Monday for a regular show. But as I said, if you're a football fan, make sure to tune in once a week for our division previews.
What about football?
What?
You're a football fan?
Yeah. If you're a football fan, running the old football. Guys, we'll see you here on Monday. You can follow me on Twitter.
Revolutionizing the forward pass.
At Shane D. You can follow Bo on Twitter at Bo Brock. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets.
Do it.
PHNX_sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we'll see you here on Monday. But until then, peace, love, and Johnny Scooter's running the football to the 30.